Қадірлі Рим папасы, құрметті кездесуге қатысушылар, бүгін шын мәнінде еліміз үшін тарихи күн. Рим папасы Франциск Қазақстанға алғаш рет апостолдық сапармен келді. Осы ретте менің шақыруымды қабыл алғаны үшін мәртебелі мейманымызға тағы да шынайы ризашылығымды білдіремін. Биыл Қазақстан мен Ватикан арасында дипломатиялық қатынас орнатылды.
Laudetur Jesus Christus, praised be Jesus Christ. Welcome to this live-stream broadcast of Pope Francis' meeting with authorities, civil society and members of the diplomatic corps in Nur-Sultan, Kazakhstan, this Tuesday, September 13th. My name is Francesca Merlo and I'll be providing the English commentary for this afternoon's event. Whether you're joining us through various Vatican media channels, the Vatican audio or radio app, the Vatican News web portal or YouTube channel, or via one of our partner stations including Catholic Faith Network, Shalom World Television Networks USA, EWTN, Salt and Light TV, Luminous Radio India, Catholic TV, Shalom TV India and Sunday Shalom, a warm welcome to you all.
To commend once again your tireless and dedicated efforts in the name of the human family around the world. You have arrived in Kazakhstan at a critical juncture in human history. The family of nations is balancing on the edge of an abyss as geopolitical tensions escalate, global economy suffers, and mushrooming religious and ethnic intolerance becomes the new normal. I believe it's high time for moderates from different cultures and religions to pool their wisdom and energy to unite people behind the ideas of peace, social harmony, and mutual support. Your Holiness, ladies and gentlemen, over the 30 years of independence, Kazakhstan has put in place its own model of inter-ethnic and inter-religious accord based on the unity in diversity principle. Today, Kazakhstan is a proud home to the largest Catholic community in Central Asia. Christians, along with other believers, contribute strongly to building a just Kazakhstan, where coexistence, tolerance, and mutual acceptance flourish. As part of our efforts to contribute to the cause of harmony and dialogue around the globe, Kazakhstan convenes the Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions. Since its inception in 2003, the forum has served as a good example of how people come together as one despite their differences. I strongly believe that only dialogue, human fraternity, and respect will make coexistence and tolerance possible. In this vein, I highly appreciate the exceptional engagement and invaluable support that the Holy See extends to the Congress work. Your Holiness, I am convinced that your personal participation in tomorrow's gathering will ensure its resounding success and instill a true joy and happiness in the hearts of all devout Catholics in Kazakhstan and beyond. Holy Father, taking this favorable opportunity, I once again welcome you to Kazakhstan with deep respect and gratitude. And now, it's my privilege to give you the floor.
We have just heard the discourse of the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan, and we will now hear Pope Francis. You can see the cardinals in the front row, and now Pope Francis. Mr. President of the Republic, honorable members of government and the diplomatic corps, representatives of civil society and the world of culture, ladies and gentlemen, I offer you a cordial greeting and I thank the President for his kind words. I am honored to be here with you in this land as vast as it is ancient. I have come here as a pilgrim of peace, seeking dialogue and unity. Our world urgently needs peace. It needs to recover harmony. A harmony that here in this country can be illustrated by what I have learned is one of its traditional musical instruments, the dombra. The dombra is a hallmark of your culture and one of the most important symbols of Kazakhstan. So much so that a specific day was recently set aside to honor it. I would like to use the dombra as a starting point for what I wish to share with you today. In preparing for this journey, I also learned that some versions of the dombra were already in use during the Middle Ages, and that down the centuries it accompanied the recitation of sagas and poetry, linking the past to the present. As a symbol of continuity and diversity, its rhythm accompanies your country's memory. It thus serves as a reminder of how important it is, amid today's rapid economic and social changes, not to neglect the bonds that connect us to the lives of those who have gone before us. I think particularly of those traditions that enable us to cherish the past and to value the rich inheritance we have received. Here I think, for example, of your fine popular tradition of cooking on Friday mornings 7 loaves in honor of your ancestors. The memory of your country, which Pope John Paul II, as a pilgrim to Kazakhstan, defined as a land of martyrs and of believers, land of deportees and of heroes, land of intellectuals and artists, embraces a glorious history of culture, humanity, and suffering. How can we fail to recall in particular the prison camps and the mass deportations that witnessed in the cities and in the boundless steppes of these regions the oppression of so many peoples? Yet Kazakhs did not let themselves remain prisoners of these injustices. The memory of your seclusion led to a deep concern for inclusion. In this land, traversed from ancient times by great displacements of peoples, may the memory of the sufferings and trials you endured be an indispensable part of your journey towards a future, inspiring you to give absolute priority to human dignity, the dignity of every man and woman, and of every ethnic, social, and religious group. Going back to the dombra, it is played by plucking its 2 strings. Kazakhstan is known for its capacity to keep creating harmony between 2 parallel strings. Temperatures that are as frigid in winter as they are torrid in summer, and between tradition and progress, as symbolized by the encounter between historic cities and modern cities, like this capital. Above all, in this country we can hear the notes of 2 souls, Asiatic and European, which give it a permanent mission of linking 2 continents, of being a bridge between Europe and Asia, and a junction between East and West. The strings of the dombra are usually heard alongside other stringed instruments, typical of these places. A reminder that harmony grows and matures in togetherness, in the choral unity that leads to a symphonic social life. A fine local proverb states that unity is the source of success. If that is true everywhere, here it is true in a very particular way. The 550 ethnic groups and the over 80 languages present in the country, with their diverse histories and cultural and religious traditions, represent an extraordinary symphony. They make Kazakhstan a unique, multi-ethnic, multicultural and multi-religious laboratory and disclose its particular vocation, that of being a country of encounter. I have come here to emphasize the importance and the urgency of this aspect of encounter, to which the religions are called especially to contribute. I will have the honor of taking part in the 7th Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions. Fittingly, the Constitution of Kazakhstan, in defining it as a secular state, provides for freedom of religion and belief, a healthy secularity, one that acknowledges the importance and indispensable role of religion and resists the forms of extremism that disfigure it, represents an essential condition for the equal treatment of each citizen, while fostering a sense of loyalty to the country on the part of all its ethnic, linguistic, cultural and religious groups. Religions, while carrying out their irreplaceable role of seeking and witnessing to the absolute, require freedom of self-expression. Religious freedom represents the best channel for civil coexistence. This requirement is evoked by the very name of your people, for the word Kazakh refers to walking in freedom and independence. The defense of freedom, an aspiration inscribed in the heart of each person, the sole condition for an authentic encounter between individuals and group, is expressed in civil society chiefly by the recognition of rights accompanied by duties. In this regard, I wish to express appreciation for the affirmation of the value of human life embodied by the abolition of the death penalty in the name of each human being's right to hope. Together with this, it is important to guarantee freedom of thought, conscience and speech, in order to enable each individual to play his or her unique and equal role in service to society as a whole. Here too, the dombra can assist our reflection. It is for the most part a popular musical instrument, and as such bespeaks the beauty of preserving the genius and spirit of a people. This is first the task of the civil authorities, who are primarily responsible for the advancement of the common good, and finds expression above all in support for democracy, which constitutes the most suitable form for translating power into service to the entire people and not simply to a few. I know that especially in recent months, a process of democratization has been initiated, with the aim of strengthening the competences of the Parliament and of the local authorities, and more generally a greater distribution of power. This is a meritorious and demanding process, and certainly not a short-term one, that requires persevering towards the goal without turning back. Indeed, trust in those who govern increases when promises are not simply a means to an end, but are effectively implemented. Democracy and modernization everywhere must be more than fine words. They must be embodied in concrete service to people. A good politics, born of listening to people and responding to their legitimate needs. Constant engagement with civil society and non-governmental and humanitarian organizations. And particular concern for workers, young people, and the more vulnerable sectors of society. Every country in the world likewise needs measures to combat corruption. This truly democratic political style is the most effective response to possible cases of extremism, personalism and populism that threaten the stability and welfare of peoples. I think too of the need for economic security, which here, at the beginning of the year, was called for in areas that, despite the presence of significant energy resources, are facing various difficulties. This is a challenge that concerns Kazakhstan, but also the world as a whole, in which integral development is held hostage by widespread injustice, whereby resources are unequally distributed. It is the task of the state, but also of the private sector, to treat all groups in society with justice, with equality of rights and duties, and to promote economic development not on the basis of the profits of a few, but of the dignity of each worker. Let us return for a final time to the Dombra. It unites Kazakhstan to its neighbors in surrounding countries and helps to spread its culture throughout the world. I express my hope that the name of this great country may continue to be a synonym of harmony and peace. Kazakhstan represents a significant geopolitical crossroad, and so it has a fundamental role to play in lessening cases of conflict. Pope John Paul II came here to sow seeds of hope immediately after the tragic attacks of 2001. I am visiting you in the course of the senseless and tragic war that broke out with the invasion of Ukraine, even as other conflicts and threats of conflict continue to imperil our times. I have come to echo the plea of all those who cry out for peace, which is the essential path to development for our globalized world.
È dunque sempre più pressante la necessità di allargare l'impegno diplomatico a favore del...
The need to expand the efforts of diplomacy to promote dialogue and encounter thus becomes all the more pressing, since nowadays the problem of one is the problem of all. And those who hold greater power in the world have greater responsibility with regard to others, especially those countries most prone to unrest and conflict. This should be our concern, not merely our own individual interests. Now is the time to stop intensifying rivalries and reinforcing opposing blocs. We need leaders who, on the international level, can enable peoples to grow in mutual understanding and dialogue, and thus give birth to a new spirit of Helsinki. The determination to strengthen multilateralism, to build a more stable and peaceful world with an eye to future generations. For this to happen, what is needed is understanding, patience, and dialogue with all. I repeat, with all. Thinking specifically of global commitment to peace, I express deep appreciation for this country's decisive repudiation of nuclear weapons and its efforts to develop energy and environmental policies centered on decreased dependence on carbon fuel and on investment in clean sources of energy, the importance of which was emphasized by the international exhibition held here 5 years ago. Together with a commitment to interreligious dialogue, these are concrete seeds of hope sown in the common soil of humanity. It is up to us to cultivate those seeds for the sake of coming generations, for the young whose desires must be seriously considered as we make decisions affecting the present and the future. The Holy See is at your side in this pursuit. Immediately after the country's independence 30 years ago, diplomatic relations were established, and now, as this anniversary approaches, I am happy to be able to visit this country. I assure you of the desire of Catholics who have been present in Central Asia from ancient times to continue to testify to the spirit of openness and respectful dialogue that distinguishes this land. Mr. President, dear friends, I thank you for your kind welcome, which demonstrates your celebrated sense of hospitality, as well as for the opportunity to spend these days in fraternal dialogue with the leaders of many religions. May the Most High bless the vocation of peace and unity proper to Kazakhstan, the country of encounter. To you who have primary responsibility for the common good, and to all the people of the nation, I express my joy at being here and my readiness to accompany with prayer and closeness every effort being made to ensure the prosperous and harmonious future of this great country. Rakhmet, thank you. God bless Kazakhstan.
Your Holiness, once again, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to you, first of all, for having come to our capital to attend this very important event. It's an event of huge importance. And secondly, I would like to express my gratitude to you for kind words of respect to Kazakhstan, as well as to our culture. And thirdly, of course, I would like to express my appreciation for your enlightening speech tonight. I think that it will be a very important event in the memory of my people. And also, I would like just to wish, may your prayers light our path to a brighter future of the humankind, free of conflicts and wars, and filled with mutual prosperity, mutual confidence, and mutual love. Thank you very much.
Now, we remind you that, as the Holy Father mentioned, he is in Kazakhstan specifically to attend the 7th Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions, after welcoming the invitations he received from civil authorities and church in Kazakhstan. The highlights of his journey will include the Pope's participation at the Congress, where he will give a discourse, pray in silence, and engage in private discussions with religious leaders, including the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar Al-Tayyib. The religious leaders are also expected to issue a declaration. We see different religious leaders in the front rows. Now pictured, we see the logo for the event. The logo for his visit features a dove and an olive branch, The dove's wings are depicted by two hands joined together to symbolize those of the messengers of peace and unity, which is the motto for the Holy Father's apostolic journey. Then the heart portrayed on the wings represents love, the fruit of mutual understanding, cooperation, and dialogue, while the stylized olive branch is depicted with a typical Kazakh ornamental image. The colors used, light blue and yellow, are the same as those on the flag of Kazakhstan. And the green on the twig symbolizes hope. And with these images of the flags in the background of where the Pope and the President sat, the Pope's meeting with authorities, civil society and members of the diplomatic corps draws to a close. On behalf of Vatican Radio, I'd like to thank our partners who helped make these live broadcasts available throughout the world. Catholic TV, EWTN TV, Salt and Light TV, Luminous Radio, Catholic TV and Shalom TV. I'd also like to thank all of our producers and technicians here in studio who made this broadcast possible, and thanks to all of you for joining us today. For full coverage of the Pope's journey to Kazakhstan, including today's event, as well as other news from the Vatican and around the world, we invite you to visit the Vatican News web portal and our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube accounts. I'm Francesca Merlo, and it's been a pleasure providing coverage of the Holy Father's first meeting in Kazakhstan today as he begins his 38th apostolic journey abroad. Praised be Jesus Christ, Laudetur Jesus Christus.